Alright, this is episode 51 of the Odd Pod. And I can't believe we made it this far, man. We survived the pandemic. We fucking, we're here. 50 fucking episodes, man. Thank y'all for listening.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about our favorite comic books that throughout our lifetimes. So I'm going to go first with my first ever comic book that I remember ever having. My dad bought me it was a Mexican Spider-Man comic book from Mexico. It was in Spanish. And it was an anti-gun one. Yeah. What was your first comic book? You remember that?
My first comic book, probably not, but I think it was I think one of the first things I remember reading as far as a comic book was probably some old Spawn, you know, and to me, like the way that Spawn looked, the way the art looked, the way that, you know, all the action scenes looked, that to me pretty much imprinted in my head what comic books should look like, you know. And this was like, it's probably like mid '90s, so it was a comic books, in my opinion. That's when comic books were at their best, because they were at their edgiest and also at their most like everyone was at their creative peaks back in the mid '90s, in my opinion.
So you would say that was like the golden age for you.
Yeah, because, you know, even back now, if I were to like go try and find comic books that I want to reread, it'd probably be some comic books from the mid '90s.
Right. And what's interesting is I took a comic book history class in Eastfield that went towards my associates, and it was the first year they offered it. As far as I know, it was the last year they fucking offered it. I don't know if they kept having it, but the golden age is what is like the original Superman. Like the technical, quote unquote, technical golden age, like from the history, is like the original Superman, the action comics, and then detective comics with the original Batman, and then it goes into like the Silver Age, which I don't remember what it was, and then the Bronze Age, or maybe the Silver Age was the night. I don't know, but it was a different time. The second books that I had was like Span, because all the shit would be, well, who got it for you? Who got you the Spawn book? Did you go to the comic shop?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I was probably way too young.
That's weird. And that's your first one? That's kind of like, those are like pretty intense, right?
Yeah, the art was pretty intense. The villains were like pretty, like really like evil looking, and
it was demonic.
Yeah, basically,
right?
Yeah.
Because I never read Spawn, but I know a little bit about it, and I never even watched the movies.
Yeah, and the dialogue was obviously like not for kids, you know. So I was like, oh man, so all this crazy art, these crazy storylines, these crazy characters, this foul language, you know. Like as a young kid, you're like, hey, this is, you know,
bro. It's like you started smoking weed for the first time, and you started with Kush.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just some regular Spider-Man propaganda saying anti-gun shit, right? And then that's like some Reggie, just like when I first started smoking weed.
Yeah, because like I look back at those comic books from the 80s and you know, like 70s and shit like that, and I'll be straight up, like, you know, they really don't, to me, they're just, they're lame. I gotta be honest.
Well, a lot of it was propaganda.
They're cheesy and stuff, you know,
yeah.
like a lot of it is, you know, just, yeah.
And then the colors, it's just like, it looks old, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to look at once you know.
But I'm pretty sure for the time, like, the people who were looking at that, for them, it was something completely new. They never seen that before.
I mean, it blew up the world.
Like how Spawn was to me, I'm pretty sure that, like, all those other comic books, like the old Superman, the old Batman, the old Captain America, Spider-Man, I bet that's how it hits them. Like, oh my God, I remember my childhood, and I was just like, oh yeah, I love this superhero. Right. I could picture them, you know. So I you know, like I said, that's my opinion.
Right. So the second comic books I read was my dad bought me these omnibuses. Is that how you say omnibus or omnibus?
Yeah, omnibuses. Yeah.
Omnibuses.
Yeah, you might want to explain what omnibuses.
It's like
All right. Well,
I don't know if they're in order.
Well, normally you get a comic book and it's one issue, right? An omnibus is basically where you get a big hardcover or maybe a big old giant comic book, but it's like maybe 10 to 15 or more issues in that one thing.
Right. Because the trade paperback is only like sometimes like 7 issues.
Yeah, straight paperback is really just like arcs, you know, like
right.
we're taking this chapter of this story, this chapter, you know, and then the new chapter will be the next trade paperback
right.
TP. Yeah.
Which that shit can get expensive. You
Oh
start buying all that shit.
yeah. You know, I feel like the people who cashed in on that the most are the Japanese. You know, like those animes, like those mangas, they have a crazy amount of like a number that they do, and you see how they all look. They look they look like books, bro, like straight up.
Chapter books.
And they cost like they're not cheap.
Really?
And
even though they're black and white?
They're not cheap.
Wow.
They're not cheap.
Well, the art is not subpar. It's up there. It's top notch.
Because what they'll say is an import. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you go to the Asian bazaars and try to go buy little trinkets from, you know, little cool, cute shit, it'll cost you a whole shit lot more because they'll say it's imported. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
They'll tax you on it, you know?
But we don't get no import tax on China shit, right? But they don't make manga in China.
Nah, well, probably not the one that anyone gives a fuck about.
Right, it's probably some propaganda shit.
Yeah, shout out to the CCP.
So I had a bunch of Spanish ones, and then besides that, my dad would buy me like comic strips because I used to read the Sundays, the funnies. So he'd buy me books of Calvin and Hobbes and what was another one, like Charlie Brown. And those were pretty cool, man. Those were pretty. Those Calvin and Hobbes were a lot deeper than one.
Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah.
You mean like the
cat and the kid?
What's the name of that the Rock and Jason Statham movie?
Rock and Jason Statham.
Something to Hobbes, right? Don't they have movies?
Oh yeah, but that's from Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah. It's not the same name, is it?
Oh, I hope not.
Damn.
I don't think so. I don't think it's
I
Calvin.
feel like Calvin and Hobbes is like trademarked.
Yeah, it has to be. And then that guy, it's interesting because that guy, like I started reading about him as a writer, artist. He never wanted to sell out. Like, you know how Garfield, there was toys, Garfield was everywhere, and I remember seeing it in the Guinness Book of World Records.
My parents had a Garfield phone, like corded, you know,
right.
A corded phone. Some people might not even know what that shit even looks like. Some people might have not even probably held a corded phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, landline is what they call it.
You mean you just walk around in a circle, like in that same spot where the phone? Yep, you just stand there.
Well, and then cordless.
That's why folks
house phones were amazing.
That changed the game. But them hoes used to get lost everywhere, bro.
Not in my house. My dad would probably beat my ass if I lost it.
Nah, my house, we lost that shit a lot.
We had a cool purple one.
Yeah.
It was dope, bro. I remember walking around having it on your shoulder and shit.
You know what?
Shit.
You know what, Cynthia, my wife just bought, bro? She just ordered this thing for her phone. It's a retro, like, okay, imagine those old phones, those dial-up phones. It's just a headset, right? But it has an attachment you hook it up to your cell phone.
Interesting. What?
I know. This is it's like everything is reversing. Like first y'all were talking shit about these old phones and y'all wanted these new shits and y'all wanted cell phones, y'all wanted touch screens, and now we're going all the way back to the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Super retro.
Yeah, and that's what they're calling it. They're like, nah, it's just I want to be retro. Bro, what the fuck?
I mean, it feels better on your face than the screen.
You're degenerating, like, technology-wise. This is like if we went from hey, I'm gonna use this drill. Now I'm gonna go back and get a chisel and some fucking, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not going back that far, 'cause that's like doing Telegram. It's going back to like, I'm just gonna use a screwdriver.
It's a metaphor, Chris.
No, I understand, but I feel like kind of extreme metaphor. But it just seems like
I'm an extreme person.
Amen, brother. It's an unnecessary step. But that's crazy. So then, what was your second book that you remember reading after Spawn?
I don't think I started reading comic books again until I started reading them like regularly, which was like when I was way older. Probably like, I'm talking way older, like early 20s.
And you read them digitally?
Yeah, and you know what, like, the thing about comic books for me, there's like a tragedy. So I used to be one of the dudes that would go and download all the comic books that he wanted to read every week, and I was up to date. I knew all the companies, Dark Horse, Vertigo, Dynamite. You know what I'm saying? Obviously besides Marvel and this and
Image.
that. Yeah, Image. Fuck, bro. God, so many good books.
Hell yeah.
Anyhow,
and Image, that's like made by people from DC and Marvel, right? They came together.
Yeah. It's not to come together. It's just that, like, basically.
Well, like dudes that left those companies.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you as a writer can go work for DC for a few years and sign a contract, and then once you're done your contract, go work for another. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You know, it's like being an athlete. You know, you're a free agent. You're not in the contract. But the thing about happened to me, so I used to get them every week. I used to have my list, my pull. They call it a pull list. You know, list. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I wasn't gonna do it physically because I didn't have the funds because I was reading about maybe 10 to 15 comic books a week. That's how much. So imagine that in month. Then now times 10 times now do 10 times $3.99 a week.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's way too fucking much, son.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a drug habit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would illegally download them. I'll pirate comic books. You know, I was a big fan. And you know what happened is I had them all on one hard drive, and I'm talking about thousands of comic books because I have been reading them for years, and I have been collecting old shit like all the classic DC stuff. You know what I'm saying? Classic Image stuff from back in all the old mid '90s shit. I was collecting it. You know, like the Preacher, that show that comic book is one of the best comic books I've ever fucking read. Fuck really? That show. That show to me is ass. But the comic book is one of the greatest ones you've ever read. The Preacher, the comic book. Trust me. You know, oh my god. So
is it a limited series?
Nah, it's huge. It's like 100 issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is, it hurts me talking about this. The hard drive that they were on, it just stopped working one day. Like I plugged it in to re-upload, to put comic books on it, and it just wouldn't work. And so I took it to go get looked at the shop, and the guy was like, "Whatever's wrong with it is we're probably looking at almost 4 digits to fix it, and just to go in there and get the data out." And obviously,
4 digits, like
thousand,
stacks?
yeah, like
that.
Wow,
just to...
hey, you know what? These technology dudes, it's like your boy who charged me $50 for a Photoshop basic stock thing, that I could have gotten for like $0 if I just opened up the app. Anyhow, hey, you got the stuff, you set the prices, right? You know what I'm saying? So basically, I lost all the comic books I had been reading for like probably 4 or 5 years. But it's justice because what did I start with? I said I stole them all. Right. I was illegally downloading them.
And you a lot.
Yeah. I said hundreds of comic books. Gone.
Bro,
I was collecting them in folders of it so I could pass them on to people, fam. So I could pass them on to people in easy to read formats. I was gonna give you only the good shit, so you wouldn't have to go through the shitty DC, the shitty Marvel. I was reading the good ones, all the good comic books, and I could tell you all about them. And you know what?
Like what good ones? Like can you list some?
No, I heard, babe. Look, to even try to think about it hurts my heart because.
For sure, Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, Walking Dead is legit. Fuck that show. That show is ass, and I'll debate you on that, bro.
There's like a cult following.
Anybody wants this smoke on that? I'll do it, bro. Cause that comic book is one of the greatest things ever written. The way the show got so shitty after like maybe 3 or 4 seasons, even though the Walking Dead comic book, yes, it was all about these people going through the world. They went through so many fucking issues and it was so good. And every time you thought, I'm getting bored of this, it's getting whack, man, they would hit you with an amazing plot twist. And not dumb shit like the show where the show would do this. The show would have a good episode, the first episode, a badass episode, maybe a good one, the second one, have like 6 shitty ones, have a decent one that leads up to the finale, and then have a stupid cliffhanger in the finale to make you go watch, and they would repeat this. So what that equals out of maybe 12, 13 episodes a season, that equals like 3 good episodes. So you know what? Fuck that show. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I see the game.
They're just squeezing it.
I feel bad for that dude who wrote it, Kirkman, that's his name, right? I feel bad, bro. He not only did they because he wrote it. He's a very good writer. That's not the only comic book he's written. He's written other ones, and he's written some amazing ones, bro. Kirkman is a gangster with it, bro. And so I think what they did to him is what they did to the guy who created Adventure Time and what's that other show you love so much with the Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
I think what they
Harmon.
Yeah, but they fucked with them to the point where like they made it, they turned them into whores. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? These guys are so like these writers are of a certain personality. Like they're very brilliant people, but they can't stand up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And you have these executives, these people just telling you, oh, you know what? Here, you know, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, and then we'll give you time off. You know, and they keep on promising that they're gonna be done, and that this is gonna be the last time. This will be the last interview. This will be the last edit. No, fam. They're just gonna keep pulling.
It's like anything.
Yeah, they're gonna keep on taking from you until you got nothing left.
Well, that's why the dude who made Calvin and Hobbes, he said, I don't want to do that, because that's what they do with Garfield did. Right, and then they just kind of bleed
I mean,
out.
Didn't they make a Garfield cartoon, a 3D cartoon? And it's
Bro,
the worst thing I've ever seen?
There's so many Garfield things. Like, he has no creative control over his product. Yeah. So now they can shit on it and fuck it up and
Isn't
make
that
it
horrible?
It's horrible. So the guy who, like, maybe he's not as rich, but he's making a living.
Yeah, bro.
And he never sold out.
Because I kept it real, and I'm still an artist. You're not an artist anymore. You're a whore. you're someone's slave, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and it loses integrity of the original product.
Yeah, it's not your baby no more. It's not yours. It's not yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Which can be bad. Like, sometimes you can get that back. Like, for instance, I got into the Ninja Turtle comic books because of that college class, because I didn't even know they were comic books. You know, I grew up watching cartoons like you probably did, and the 80s, and there was like a slide on one of these things, and I mean, there's so many good comics, bro. I got into Judge Dredd and shit because of that class. But Ninja Turtles, I found out there was an ongoing series, and then I found out there was an old Mirage series that came out in the 80s, and then there was an Image series, which was like Volume 3, which got like crazy because it wasn't in the control of the main creators, right? But it was dope. Like, Raphael got mutilated and shit, like he had acid in his face, and Donnie basically died. Which they kind of did that again on which I think was an ode to the Image series, where he kind of died and had to get robotic and shit, and then like Mikey had it was dope, bro. But so like they lost it, but then finally they got some control. One of the dudes, Peter Laird, which is kind of like the nerdier one, is Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman's like a cool dude because he also started that Heavy Metal magazine that has like other comics. I think it's called Heavy Metal, and so at first, for Volume 3 of the Ninja Turtles, Peter Laird had it, and it was like black and white, and he said that Volume 3 from Image wasn't canon, and he just had his own thing, right? And it was fine, it was cool, right? And then he like, I guess got tired of it because he just stopped making them. I mean, it's a lot of work, especially if you're doing it by yourself and shit. And then that's when Nickelodeon came in, Kevin Eastman came in, but they gave him like a big hand, they let him do a lot. So that's why it's pretty cool because they kind of have it back. And then now Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird came back together for the Last Ronin, which is like this futuristic thing where all the turtles died except for Mikey, and yeah, it's pretty dope. Comic book movies. What are your favorite? Did you like the Spawn movie?
No.
At all?
I don't think there's any comic book movie I liked. I'll be honest with you. I mean, they really. Yeah, I don't think there's any comic book movie I liked.
Well, the Christian Bale Batman movies. Those are good.
Does that really count though? I guess it does, but you know, I feel like certain heroes are like their own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, as far as comic book movies, you know, you're talking about something like Max Payne, like Judge Dredd. I guess Judge Dredd's a good one, but not the one with Sylvester Stallone, the one that came out years ago with.
I didn't watch that.
With some dude named something Urban. His last name is Urban. I think it's
Keith Urban, the country singer.
No, I think it's something with a K though. I think it is Kyle, something Urban. Either way, but that's a good ass movie. The one that came out years ago, that Dredd movie, is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend that. But no, as far as any legit comic book movie, no, I wasn't really a fan of the Resident Evil series. I thought it was just cheesy.
The who?
What I'm saying? The Resident Evil series.
Oh.
The movies. That's a video game though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a video game. I didn't know Max Payne was a comic book.
No, that was a video game too. You're right. That was a video game.
Happy was a comic book. That first season was derived from a comic book from I think it was on Image or some shit. Which Happy's fucking crazy. Happy with an exclamation mark. Which I'm surprised they gave him a second season. Which the second season there was no comic book iteration of it. And after that it was like. So what would be? Do you have a like top 5 comics series?
Nah, like I said, it was too. I was reading too much shit. And
okay, that was my question. That's what I remember. How did you keep up with all these fucking storylines?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that hard, you know. Like I said, you know, each once you get in the comics, you start to realize that okay, it breaks down the story arcs. You know what I'm saying? Like every 7 or 8 issues, they'll switch out to another arc. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a big one, it might be 10 issues. You know what I mean? But you just got to figure out what arcs to jump into. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, what you like, what you don't like. You know, so the way that I would do it is like like DC would have like 7 different Batman series going on in one time.
Right.
But I would know which ones was the good ones and which was the shitty ones. The same thing with Marvel. Like they had a whole shitload of X-Men comic books. They had the team. They had the solo ones.
Right.
I knew which ones were good. You know what I'm saying?
How did you know?
Because I would go read them. I would legit go read them.
So you would literally have to go through the shitty ones and be like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah, and then and like I said, even that's not hard because when you think about it, a comic book, yes, when you go look at a comic book, it seems like a lot, but no,
it's a couple minutes.
A lot of it is ads that you're looking at in the book. Like maybe there's probably no more than like 20 pages.
That's
of
Marvel,
action.
DC, they have so many ads.
Yeah, there's probably no more than 20 pages of legit story. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the story, you know, think about it. A comic book, you're looking at a bunch of pictures and a couple of word dialogue bubbles. Yeah, so it's really not that hard to speed through, you know, 7 or 8 issues, which is what I used to do. This is why I could go through go download 20 issues every week and read them in about maybe an hour. You know what I'm saying? Go through them and all right, this is shitty, this is shitty. And once you caught on to like, okay, I see where this is going, you know, it's like with a lot of stuff you get into, you know, you start to realize, oh, I see where this is going. This is gonna be cheesy. Oh, this is good. You know, this is original.
Like movies.
Or you would know what writers to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like for example, Scott Snyder. Is one of my go-to. You know, he wrote. He helped revive Batman. Batman was going through kind of a decline. For a good while, but he came back in the New 52 with this new Batman series and brought the Joker back with the Joker with his face torn off and shit. It really Scott Snyder really helped bring Batman.
Wait,
if it wasn't for Scott Snyder and Homeboy and Christopher Nolan, those two were the only reason why Batman came back as hard as he did, you know, in the mid 2000s, you know, maybe 2010s, so whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because of those two dudes, the way they wrote and directed those movies. But yeah, as far as and artists too, I would also know certain artists were just so good that if I knew they were drawing an issue or drawing a series, I'm going to that series, and I can remember having gone through and read multiple whole series that were shitty, but I'd read them because the artist I knew he was A1. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember my favorite one going back was Jason Fabok. He was drawing the old the Justice League when they got hot. You know what I'm saying? And I remember his art was amazing, and he was doing the Detective Comics, the Batman. Good God,
Is the New 52?
Yeah, New 52. That's when that was going on. And man, the Detective Comics series and Justice League series that Jason Fabok drew, oh my God, dude! His art, I was hooked on his art from the start. I'm like, if I see his name, I'm reading this comic. I don't care who wrote it.
That shit's like fine fucking art. Like the way that we look back at Roman art and shit, wow, that shit is that's what that is, bro.
And it's hard comics sometimes because you can deal with shitty storylines but really good art. But man, it is hard to deal with a good story but shitty art. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough.
Because it's like, man, I feel like I know I'm reading an A1 story, but this is better in my head than on the fucking picture right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, why did you have to get this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, certain artists just have styles that you're never gonna like.
They're probably cheaper, right?
You could say so.
Like the Ninja Turtles, the current ongoing series from IDW, which I like IDW because they don't have a lot of ads. The ads, they put them at the end instead of amidst the books. Yeah. And they just picked up what's it called? Usagi Yojimbo, the Samurai Rabbit, which is actually getting a cartoon on Netflix. But the Ninja Turtles, they'll have different artists on different arcs sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's the same series, or they'll have mini series with different artists. So sometimes they're, But DC doesn't really do that, right? Like, it's always one artist for that series, or do they change it up on arcs sometimes? Like
it would depend on the series, cause some comic books have like started doing that. You know, like especially I'm assuming especially with how the lockdowns have affected shit. Like you can't really team up at a building anymore. A lot of shit is probably like just emailed to each other. So I'm pretty sure that there's comic books by now that probably maybe did do different. And I've read a few actually where every issue was a different artist. That was the thing, right? That was the thing.
That kind of fucks with the story, doesn't it? A little bit.
Sometimes.
If it's good, if it's done right, it can work.
Yeah, if you're not, I think that works if you're not trying to do like a legit 12-issue storyline. Like maybe just have a bunch of little mini arcs, like short stories in each one. You know,
there's also what the Ninja Turtles do sometimes when they have flashbacks to another arc, they'll bring back that artist from that arc, and then so like an issue will have all these flashbacks.
There was this comic book that people say that it inspired the Matrix, and apparently it copied a lot from the Matrix. This is how I got into it. When I heard this is what the Matrix got ideas from, let me see what's up. So I went and read it. And it's called The Invisibles. It's written by let me look this up so I'm not spitting under truth.
Wait, that's not like that's The Incredibles. And then there's a new cartoon called The Invincible. Yeah. Which is based on the comics, I think. Did you ever read Invincible?
Yeah, I did. You know what? Invincible is written by the guy who wrote Walking Dead. That's a Robert Kirkman thing. Yeah, see, Robert Kirkman's amazing because look, I know that shit is amazing because because Invincible. Okay, quick overview. Invincible is about a superhero, but it's not your average thing. Like Robert Kirkman, I'm telling you, bro, he has amazing, incredibly original storylines with this guy. There was an issue where he got raped by a chick, like he got forced to have sex. It was a big thing. Yeah, wow. yeah. Like, and it was a big thing because obviously how he had to deal with it. Like, that's some real shit. Bro, you know what I'm saying?
That's 2025 shit.
And Invincible, that comic book has. When I left comic books, it was going on to like 200 issues. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Robert Kirkman is a gangster, bro. He's a fucking gangster.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's called The Invisibles, right? The comic book I was talking about, and it was written by in my opinion, also one of the best, not just comic book writers, but this guy is amazing. Like if you go look on YouTube, like type in his name, Grant Morrison. He's a trippy motherfucker. This comic book exposed a lot. It exposed if you look at it now, knowing what we know now, and you look at it now, you're like, this guy was exposing the deep state way back in the day.
Grant Morrison from JRE? Was he on JRE or is that someone?
Is he Scottish? Yeah. Oi.
Glasses?
Morrison. Yeah, that guy?
I think so.
He's yeah. That's him. He's also he's also like into he's also into like the spiritual stuff. So he's really into like sigils. That's his fucking thing. Sigils. He'll teach you all about sigils, how to focus on sigils, how to use it to power you up.
Wait, those are like certain symbols you can create and shit. Like I learned about that last summer from Crystal. Shout out to Crystal.
And you know what? There's that because that Invisibles, it was the company it was on was Vertigo. There's also another comic on Vertigo that is one of the greatest comic books I ever read. It has to do with like Native Americans, but like in the 20th century. So it talks about how they have to deal with like now some have to be gangsters because they deal in the casinos, and to be casino these guys are ruthless, and it talks about how life is on the resis, the reservations, how. I mean, these dudes basically are kind of like living the hood life, bro. Like this shit, and this comic book got intense. It's called Scalped, as in oh man, like my God, I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about the storylines and the art. God damn, bro. Mid-90s comic book yet again. You know what I'm saying? Greatest time, in my opinion. Whatever it's cost to go read it, I definitely recommend it. You will not be disappointed.
Would you reread stories?
Fuck yeah. Wait, yeah, good ones.
Like the best ones, your favorites.
Yeah, like for example, old comic book stories. Like I must have read some of the old like Batman stuff like multiple times. I read Hush like probably 2 or 3 times. Killing Joke. Killing Joke is one of those comic books. After you read it the first time, you kind of felt a little creepy. You're kind of like, oh, that was dirty, you know, because it was kind of disturbing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is that where he killed Todd?
Nah, the Killing. Oh, I forgot. I don't know. No, Killing Joke is where the Joker kidnaps Commissioner Gordon's daughter. It's pretty.
Barbara, right?
Barbara Gordon. Yeah. It's pretty. It's pretty dark. It's pretty dark.
Well, he kills one of the Robins, though, right?
Yeah. He beat one of the Robins to death with the crowbar. That was just one of the arcs. You know what I'm saying? That was Tim Drake, and yeah, you know that goes a lot. But my favorite character from comic books probably Nightwing. That's probably my favorite dude. You know what I mean? Like I got heavy into his New 52 series. You know, and
that's Jason Todd, right?
No, that's Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson. You know, he was the first Robin, and he graduated to his own thing, to Nightwing. You know, so that's how.
I kind of like Red Hood. They remind me of the Ninja Turtles.
Red Hood is Tim Drake. Red Hood is Tim Drake.
Who died?
Yeah, because
comes back to life. Right?
Yeah, it's trippy shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everybody comes back to life in comic books. Usually, it's done some Jesus stuff, some resurrection stuff. But that Jesus stuff, bro, that stuff came
from.
Shit
going on in here.
Chicken living in the hood. I know it ain't my car, cause my car ain't got no alarm. I hope ain't nobody trying to cause no harm.
You gonna start boxing?
We gonna show them how we got our arms. They look like guns. They better run. I'm having fun, but I'm ready to roll.
Who is you? I'm assuming that your favorite comic character is probably one of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles, because like I buy them physically, so I focus on that one. But I had this one series from DC called Future's End. And it's based in the future, and this thing called Brother Eye, which is like, you know, some kind of, it's Brother Eye, you know, that's what it is. It's like, but it's like this eye thing, and it takes over all the superheroes. So basically, everybody dies, and everybody's like kind of robotic. Like,
I gotta admit, bro, some of the shit that DC did after I started reading comics is really fucking stupid.
Well, this one's great. I don't know why. Maybe because Batman Beyond's the main character and he has to save the whole universe and shit.
Oh man,
but it's like Illuminati. It's like Big Brother took over and shit. But that's the only one I read from DC, and I read that from finish to end. I know.
I'm sure no one has made the Illuminati the bad guy.
Or like a machine type.
Yeah. I'm sure no one.
I guess what made it was. You're right, but I haven't read as many comic books as you.
See, yeah, and that's the thing, and that's the thing. Reading as many comic books as I did, it made me jaded. You know, jaded as in like I told you, oh, I know what's coming, or I've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? Right. But also that really drew me to real good original shit. You know what I'm saying?
You would have been a great critic.
Yeah. I had it going for a while. I had a Tumblr page where I would post my favorite screenshots of my favorite DC comic books of the week. Damn, bro, I told you I was deep into it. But you know what? It had to die because my comic book hobby would not have survived me getting into legit books and getting into like lectures and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, and like I tell you now, like, you know, it seems to me that DC has really gone downhill anyway. So I feel like maybe I dipped out at the right time. You know, I mean, I didn't want to dip out. I had to dip out because after I lost that hard drive, I lost some motivation for reading again. I was like, man, what's the point of me building up a collection and start reading it? They're gonna get deleted anyway.
Man, that was probably like, you were probably like a comic book away from the fucking FBI busting into your house and shit. No, boom! Where are all the books at?
Man, I had some shit. My collection was gangster.
Did you have manga too?
I cataloged it. I had all the One Punch Man. I had Tokyo Ghoul. That's one of the best mangas you'll ever read. If you read mangas or you're looking for a good manga to read, that's Japanese comic books. Tokyo Ghoul.
That was also animated.
Yes,
well, right?
That anime is awesome.
Okay, so there is some good iterations.
But mangas and animes are almost always good.
Okay.
Like the Japanese don't fuck around. The live action movies are ass.
They always have become
live action movies are always ass.
Why? It's because China and Hollywood.
Well, look, when it comes to a book or a comic book, think about the images and the giant scenes that evokes in your head.
Well, now it's possible though.
Oh hell no!
With the
bro.
CGI and shit.
Bro, get it, bro. You really gonna? Okay, look.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've seen The Hobbit and I see Lord of the Rings, and I'm tell you what. I seen
still not as good.
Suck my dick. No, you know what I'm saying.
It's incredible. I love it.
This is why I say that all those Marvel hero movies that have been coming out for the past like 10 years, they're all just like cutscenes from a game. It's all special effects. It's all dudes.
Right, but it looks like the comic books kind of.
I mean,
it's cartoony and shit.
I mean,
it's gotta be. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
Watch, look.
It's fun.
Look, after we're done watching Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna show you The Hobbit, and you're gonna be like, "There's a part of me that for some reason doesn't like The Hobbit," and it's because of that. Because it's almost all digital now. It's instead of using real people putting makeup and outfits and shit, these motherfuckers got cheap.
Yeah. It takes. I remember when they did Star Wars like that. The original Star. They try to add digital. And it's like, nah. It just keeps the puppets and shit. It looks like it was better the way it was.
You know what I'm saying? That you put more effort into those puppets and those costumes than you do into the CGI.
It's more hard, and that comes across.
Yeah. That's why now people starting to realize some of these old movies, some of the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s movies are some of the best movies ever, because that was when people were legit acting. People were legit trying to create something, on their own, not just like, oh, we're gonna put it in post edit, you know what I'm saying, or we're gonna add it, we're gonna dub it after. Nah, fool, we had to get it right then and there.
Entire scenes are green screen.
Yeah, movies, fam.
Whole entire movies in green screen.
I talk shit about the Marvel movies. I mean, Fast and Furious. That's serious.
Well, after the first
Think about all those dystopian teenage films that are coming out. You know, teenage hero versus a young girl's the hero. You know what I'm saying?
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, basically, bro. All shit is green screen. You know what I'm saying? This is why too I stopped fucking with movies a long time ago. Like after I watched The Raid, after I watched The Raid 2, the greatest.
Oh, that's what the Asian.
The greatest action movie of all time. I didn't need to watch movies no more. Because I've seen the best. You know what I'm saying?
So, but I mean like, John Wick probably has a lot of CGI, right? Like background and shit.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, but they actually, you can see they tried though. I mean, okay. You can only get so far with the motherfucker popping everybody in the head for like 2 hours, right? But the martial arts is legit. The people are doing the stunts is real. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And then they had a dude from The Raid, right?
The locations are real. Yeah, the locations are real. Exactly. That's movie making. You know what I'm saying? Not just standing behind a damn green screen. You know what I'm saying? Now, John Wick, it entertains people. You know, I'm telling you that it's just a dude popping motherfuckers in the head for 2 hours and saying these cheesy lines that I heard back in the 90s and 80s in those fucking movies. But you know what? It's a new generation. I'm not gonna hate. I sound like a hater. I know I do.
But you're just being real. That's just what it is. It's just a 2020 version of Arnold Schwarzenegger out there shooting. Right?
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Dudes ain't buff no more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And it's all good. You know,
but they're not juiced up anymore.
That's not how it is.
They used to all be juiced up.
Man, the training regimen though is weird because these dudes put muscle on, the incredible amount of muscle on in like 3 or 4 months. They're putting something in their system. Yeah, they're putting something. I mean, you saw Christian Bale. He went from doing that Batman movie where he was giant and buffed up to doing a movie where he was like an anorexic.
Right.
And then he went in the movie. He was fat. He was a gangster. Right. He was fat. Remember, he didn't give a fuck. Like
bro, that'll fuck up your body.
Yeah.
To put yourself through that. He had to sign some kind of contract where they're like, "Hey, yo, we're gonna fuck with your body. You're gonna change it up the way we want it."
You know, there are some books that have been turned into graphic novels that actually turned out pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like Romo. He loves the Book of Five Rings by Musashi. To him, it's like one of his go-to how to live a life of a warrior thing. And there's a graphic novel about
Five Rings?
Yeah, the Book of Five Rings. The graphic novel is epic.
What's the...
Any Sherlock Holmes,
Oh, Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, there's plenty of graphic novels of that. They've done plenty of those.
I read a Sherlock Holmes, like a little short story one time for, I was helping my homegirl with some homework. Bro, every time I would help her with her homework, the teacher thought she was, fucking cheating, She knew she was cheating. Like, I was writing way too smart.
Yeah.
She was like, man, you got this. You plagued this shit. Not plagued it. What's it called? Plagiarized.
Yeah.
You plagued that shit.
Didn't they have an action Bible? That shit goes pretty hard.
An action Bible?
Yeah, there's a comic book Bible.
And it was dope?
It's called the Action Bible. That's what it's called. You never seen it?
Nah, I didn't get it from my boy.
See, back when I was a kid, we had the Beginner's Bible. And I'm telling you, that shit was fire. When I was a kid, I had it. I loved it. You don't want the Beginner's Bible?
Well, explain which one. Like, it had all the pictures. Like, everything's cartoony and cute,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. The Beginner's Bible. Okay. It's a white book. It's a hardcover. You know.
But it's pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Sever Cain and Abel.
That to me as a kid was like cool. I love going to church just to that book I had. My mom bought me. You know what I'm saying?
See, the Jehovah's Witness, they had this whole book that had like painted pictures of all the stories.
What's the stories though?
Oh, I like all of them. The pillar of the salt, like he looked back and she was like, oh shit. And then
why was there a pillar of salt? What's going on?
Oh, like when they're leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, I think the angels say, "Hey, y'all leave and
don't look back.
Don't look back." And his wife was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And she turned to salt.
She turned to salt because she looked back.
Yeah, that's some hoe ass shit, right? It's kind of fucked up, right?
Damn. So that dude just had to live with his wife.
He left his wife and then.
How did you draw that? Daughter. Just like that?
She's like it's like on some Thanos shit, like she was like it's crazy, bro. And then they had I feel like they had the Cain and Abel, like they got real, like it was like all of them and shit. And then dudes were like kind of swole and shit, like it was pretty intense. Like they had the the Noah.
Yo, I remember the Odyssey. You know that old ass story. Yeah. They had a graphic novel of that when I was 10 years old. My mom bought me that, and it was fucking epic.
There are some. I've read some great historical type. Like there was one about the Revolutionary War.
Oh yeah.
And then they had like a part 2 that was about the.
That's right up my alley.
War of 1812.
Damn, I need to look for some like revolutionary stuff, graphic novels, bro.
There's a good one and like that. I forgot what it was called, but it was great.
My favorite founding father, Ben Franklin's got to be something about him.
Yeah. And then I read some Viking ones.
Boy, I just exposed what a nerd I am. I have a favorite founding father.
Yeah, that was pretty lame. Nerd alert.
Some people are like, you mean your favorite slave owner? Oh God.
I think. Dang, you know what I think I was listening to Andrew Schultz, and he was talking about how like Andrew Jackson.
Real motherfucker right there.
Trying to get rid of the Fed. Every president that tried. No, it was Chris Stefano because he was on History Hyenas. Every president that tried to end the Fed got popped. And it's the bankers and all this shit, right?
And this is why Andrew Jackson has been given the reputation he's been given. They call him a racist. They say he was a bad guy. All because all he wanted to do was end the Fed. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So, saying that, I feel like if I had to pick a favorite founding father, it'd be George Washington for me. Because of Turn Washington Spies. Oh, yeah. George Washington, for sure, is the guy probably number 2 for me, bro. Like, there's the respect he commanded. Like, it's real, bro. Like, look, Thomas Jefferson... he wanted to get rid of Andrew Jackson. Like he wanted him off. He wanted George Washington to like stop co-signing this fool. So he went up to George Washington one day. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, dog, this dude Andrew Jackson, I don't like him. I smell a rat. I'm telling you, dog, I'm gonna start some shit with him, bro. And George Washington, looked at him and said, I'm gonna tell you what, if you gonna start some shit with homeboy, I'm not gonna run for a second term. Thomas Jefferson's like, whoa, why we gotta get all dramatic over here, bro? What? You know what? All right, I'm gonna leave homeboy alone. All right, but we need you. They need it. Yeah, and that's the kind. See what I'm saying? That's the kind of respect he commanded, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't he like him? Because he wasn't. Because Thomas Jefferson was trying to work with the
Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson had a different. In my opinion, bro, and this is controversial because I'm on a bad amount of founding father, but I think that what'd you drop, fam?
The bomb, but everything's okay.
Are you? What the fuck?
I caught it though.
Oh, okay.
I'm a superhero then.
So what happened is with the beef. I think the beef stems from Thomas Jefferson. I think he was an agent of France. Like he was with the evil eye. Right, you know what I'm saying? And I think Andrew Jackson was not. Andrew Jackson was a real patriot, real one. This is why George Washington sniffed him out as a youngster. Like, yo, come on, you on my team. You know what I'm saying? And George Washington, like I said, a real one. He knew his team was real ones. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy how now patriot is a bad word.
They made it to a bad word.
That's ridiculous.
It's all good. It's all good.
But that's why I'm kind of happy about Captain America being black now, because after that series, they made him Sam Wilson as the Captain America.
Watch him do some other dumb shit like, oh, now he's gay too.
I don't think they could, because there's a lot of like melanated Christians out there. It's a big population that was like up in roar by Kid Cudi wearing the dress and the Lil Nas X. There's a big Baptist
we lost the real one. We lost the real one. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I don't care. I'm not gonna get into those discussions. I'm just gonna say this. Yes, it looks like we lost Kid Cudi, but we gotta keep on grinding for what Kid Cudi established. You know, Kid Cudi saved a lot of us.
What if it's not the real Cudi? What if it's a clone?
That's why I'm telling you, we lost Cudi. That's what I'm saying. We gotta keep on grinding for the message that he left us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad he made Man on the Moon Part 3.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to that shit now though, cause no one like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Like, he made it before the dress. What if he made it while wearing a dress, bro? Jeez. Nah, it's okay. I feel like maybe they threatened him. Like, you better wear the dress, or we're gonna do you like Cobain.
Well, they always got something over you.
To embarrass you.
They always got something over you.
Alright. Did you read comic strips? Or no? The funnies?
Nah.
No.
Like my mom would, and she would read a funny one, and then look, read this. You know what I'm saying?
But they never caught you. Were they funny to you? Like what? Like Dilbert and shit, or what?
What's the one? It's Family Circus. The one with the little kids always saying dumb shit. Yeah, the little boy. Yeah.
It's usually like a circle, like just one thing or something.
Shit's pretty funny. When I got older and I started to understand Dilbert, I'm like, this is pretty clever.
Oh,
okay. Didn't they have a cartoon? Yeah, they have a cartoon.
Hell yeah. What else? Comic books. Comic book games.
Comic book games?
Have you played any games?
What games are you playing right now? You playing
Arkham.
You playing a game trying to extend this podcast episode? What
bro,
game you playing?
That's some...
Just lingering, fool.
Alright, that's episode 51. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.